Are you trying really hard to keep going, but most of the time just left thinking, I feel empty inside? There are actually times in life it is quite normal to feel empty inside. Other times when we need to numb out briefly as a survival tactic. But then times when feeling dead inside for no apparent reason is a sign there is a lot more going on than we realize, and we need to pay attention on this. In this video, we will discuss about pandemic numbness, grief and loss, emotional shocks, PTSD and c-PTSD, depression, loneliness, and the sociopathy spectrum. We are all experiencing less social contact, and in some cases too much contact with family and partners, and all alongside a cocktail of anxiety including uncertainty. It has led to many speaking up about a new sort of numbness. Most comparable to walking depression, it represents as a heady mix of boredom, lethargy, lack of focus, and despondency. Enough people are experiencing it that a New York Times article labeling the phenomena as languishing went viral. Grief, loss, and feeling numb inside. Have you recently experienced a bereavement, big life change, or loss of some kind? It is normal to feel empty inside after a loss. Grief can go on for months and then can hit on and off for years. And it is not just bereavement from losing a person or beloved pet that can cause grief. We can also be grieving if we are made redundant from a job that we loved, or are forced to take an early or unwanted retirement, become an empty nester, have to move country or leave our culture behind, experience an accident or illness that changes our functionality, lose a very precious item with great personal values. In such cases, it is important to recognize that you are in an adjustment period. You have had a shock and you are recalibrating, so to speak. It is as if our brain goes into overwhelm and turns on the cruise control for a bit until it gets into bearings and can figure out how to cope and thrive again. Now let's talk about the emotional shock. Did you recently get surprised by a difficult situation out of your control, an accident, crime, or natural disaster? Felt exhausted ever since and less able to cope? Emotional shock is not a medicinal diagnosis, but it is a term used to describe the after effect we can experience after a trauma. If you are in emotional shock, you will feel numb and empty, alongside symptoms like jumpiness, being on edge, mood swings, social withdrawal, substance abuse, changes to eat and sleeping. Emotional shock tends to wear off in a few weeks, and we also slowly get back to normal. If it goes on, if symptoms worsen, then it is possible it has become post-traumatic shock syndrome, that is PTSD. Have you felt numb ever since experiencing a trauma or since childhood? Post-traumatic shock disorder form a traumatic experience can mean we veer from fits of rage and upsets to feeling totally dead and empty inside. It is as if our emotional thermostat now has hot or off, but struggles to be anything in between. But what if there was no big recent trauma, but you feel as if you have spent most of your life asking, why do I feel empty inside? If you had a difficult childhood with a series of traumatic experiences over one big trauma, you might have what is now referred to as complex trauma or c-PTSD. Has there been no recognizable trauma, no big event to speak of, your childhood was average, but lately you feel like a cast member of The Walking Dead? It is likely to be depression, and depression is a spectrum of low moods that often descend without an exact reason. Sufferers report this feeling as if they are pushing through sands and as if their head is full of fog. Other symptoms also includes like feeling exhausted even if you are sleeping, general hopelessness, negative thoughts about the world and about yourself, noticing changes in sleeping and eating patterns, and social withdrawal. Sometimes depression happens as a seemingly small event triggers old emotions and experiences that are unresolved. In a way, this can be a positive if we ask, then seek support and end up healing our hidden wounds. Being suddenly depressed despite a wonderful new job might lead us to realize that a rude colleague has triggered old feelings about being bullied as a child. It is a chance to process that pain and finally move on. Now let's talk about depression and loneliness. Find yourself in a situation far away from friends and loved ones, or have you reached a point in life where you have given up on real connections? Our new ultra-connected technology has contributed to an ultra unconnected society. It is as if there is another pandemic buzzing in the background, a pandemic of loneliness. Britain's campaign to end loneliness charity suggests 56% of us, almost half, are living with feelings of loneliness. It is all too easy for doctors to tell someone that they have depression without asking about their social situations, as prescription of antidepressants will just mask symptoms, not help you learn to find new friends and form lasting supportive contacts. And it is arguable that many fast diagnoses of depression could be re-diagnosed as severe loneliness. But if someone has always felt empty inside, can that be just normal? Now this is the question. Never quite understood everyone's obsession with emotions, or wonder why everyone seems so sure of who they are when you change to suit? Deep down, have you long worried if there is something very different about you, always feeling like you are playing an extended advanced game of pretend? It is possible you are on sociopathy spectrum. Despite the cliche, sociopathy is not an instant ticket to a life as a criminal or terrible person. It means you do not naturally have a wide emotional spectrum and have to learn emotions and empathy. Sociopathic people can choose to be very useful and contributing citizens as much as everyone can. You just need support in learning how to understand others and how to get your needs met with communication over manipulation. Well, this is it for this video. I hope whatever we talked earlier in this video will surely help you to overcome all these symptoms and traumas that you have faced early in your life or you are facing right now. Well, this is Divya from Tegonity Academy. We'll see you soon in a very new video. Till then, goodbye. Take care.